Take two. Ah! That's one thing that it proves. This is the first time I've done this. Oh my God. I just run a marathon next because I am so out of my comfort zone. I know I talk a lot. I know I've got the gift of the gab, but technology. I married an IT guy. He's my IT dude. So, hi Mel from Bombing. No, I say hi Mel she was from Callington School. So was Becky. Hi. Out on that terrible night that I talked about the other night. Anyway, digress. So we're doing Holland today, and we are thinking about those farmers in Holland. And my idea for these sip and paints is that we are going to sort of support, honour and shout out to all those guys that are doing it tough. Whether it's, in the work field, whether it's the disease that's getting hold of your country and ravaging it like we did for Italy. Kind of makes me feel a bit sick, actually. I've been feeling sick for days, and it's just the anxiety of it. I'm sure you guys feel the same. I feel so far away from my home, and it's just difficult. Anyway, let's just paint, because let's put the energy into painting. Okay, so we're going to do this painting. I've never, ever done this painting before. And today I'm not even painting with a regular brush. So my paints are on a random piece of plastic. In fact, this is an old advertising horror by the Premier of Queensland. Thank you very much, Anna. And so I guess that again, that's why I'm doing it on things like this, to show you, find something at home. It could be a baking tray. Put cling film over a baking tray and you can stick your paints on that. You do not have to have an art kit. Thanks, Becky. All right, so let's get going. The first thing I'm going to try and do is layer over the background. I don't know how long this is going to go for. Let's say about an hour. If you're in Brisbane, have your breakfast, stick it on, and just laugh at what a mess I'm becoming. I got up at 4 a.m. and did my makeup so I didn't look hideous, and here I am, look, crying. Vicky Fraser, word up to you. Vicky's doing online PT sessions. I've already done a couple. Not in the same shape as you, my angel. However, maybe I will be after this. So check out. I think it's, tell me what it is. Is it EFH, I think, Vicky? Well, let me know. It's not Vicky, it's Sam. It's your sister that's doing it. Okay, so we're going to start off, and I'm going to start off by doing green. I'm going to apologise right now because I'm not going to be able to shout out to everybody as I'm painting because I get in a bit of a muddle, all right? Sarah Knox, hi to you, although, because you were one of my early childhood workers looking after Thomas when he was a bubba. So using a palette knife, it could be a regular knife. I'm going to cover the bottom of this in green. It could be a regular knife. You can use anything. At the end of the day, you can always stick it in the dishwasher, wash it under a running tap, wipe it in paper. Let's get that set up. I've got 3 different kinds of green here. So I am going to sort of mix it on the cardboard. So I'm painting on cardboard. It's not going to be as bright. The colour is not going to be, EFH with my sister Sam Fraser. Well, I've been doing her workouts. I'm hoping one day I might just be like my twin sister. She is an international, incredible, world champion, Ironman athlete. I've got too many boobs for that. However, I aim to at least do something a little bit... I'm not unhealthy. My brain works in a different way, And, that's what we all do. It's quite tricky, just saying. Not getting in the cracks so well. Cheezel Muncher. That is my son's best friend's mum. She's a PT and a swimming instructor in the Gap. Absolutely love her. She makes me laugh just looking at her. So that she's always brightens my day. People say to me that I brighten theirs. She brightens mine. Okay, haven't gone high enough up looking at my picture. I'm going to need to go up here. So I'm now going to draw. This is hard, people. You are setting me a challenge. I'm around the world saying, anyone can do this. It's super easy. And I'm going, oh my God. I might just crash and burn live to the nation or internationally around the world. I'm hoping that you can see that I've kind of just mixed the teal green and the other green together. So hopefully you can see that. And I've kind of gone up at an angle. So here is about halfway from I would say, I'm going to call it my canvas because that's obviously the way I speak when I teach, but that's about halfway. if I go right across, it's a bit lower that side. So I've got a nice little angle going down. Would you agree with that? Awesome. Okay, so that is my base colour. Morning to my husband. I woke him up as I got out of bed at 4 a.m. But thanks for hooking in, darling. He thinks I'm balmy, but that's what he married. He gave me a, what do you call them? A coaster for Christmas. It said, don't criticise your husband's decisions, you're one of them. I've learnt that one. Okay, so I have just washed my palette, my knife, my plastic spatula. Actually, it could be a cooking spatula, couldn't it? It's going to be the same thing. Okay, so I've done my green. I'm now going to use, I've got yellow and I've got a goldeny colour. If you haven't got a goldeny colour, maybe a bit of orange with a bit of brown in it. This is actually called yellow ochre. Okay, yellow ochre is in the kind of yellow family, but it is more goldeny brown. I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to create a background. So I'm going to follow this yellow edge here, going down. Now I don't really want to go into the green, so I'm just going to sort of palette it on. And I'm going to try and get across to the halfway. So hopefully there'll be more yellow on one side than the other. So I'm going to go right across there. So when you're painting with palette knives, you kind of have to paint with it in a different way. And you need to not worry about the scrapiness. The scrapiness, Tracy, hi. My old buddy from Bodmin College. I'm so glad to hear your husband is back from Australia. That is gorgeous. Self-isolate in the bed, darling. I would. I've got to keep it clean. 6 o'clock in the morning here. Annette's here. Annette, I'm doing a Dutch picture. I'm doing a Van Gogh for you. Okay, so I have got a bit of green. Let's not be precious. Let's not be precious. Let's not worry about that. Okay. The other thing that I'm finding a little bit tricky is that it moves a bit because obviously it's not as hard, but that's okay. If you were painting at home, you'd probably be doing it on the table, and so it's going to be easier for you, yeah? Okay, so that's my yellow layered in. Now, there's another layer of green just here. So I'm going to go for I've got two colours of green. I'm going for the kind of green. I'm going for the grass green, which is more kind of, it'll have more yellow in it. So you'll have a bluey green, which is more teal. I'm going for the grassy green. Okay, I want to create another layer there, because obviously this is a cornfield. Well, I guess it's corn. I mean, it's going to be the poppies in the end, in the front here, but it looks like that's corn. Vincent van Gogh is no longer alive to ask, and despite doing my A-level research project on Vincent van Gogh, I can't remember the answer to that. I'll have to look it up and drop it on the comments. Does it matter? Not really. To some people it will. The purists in life, details count. My husband is a details person. I leave the details to him. I am not. I shoot from the hip and I do it as I see it. Hello, Mitch, or should I say hello, Chunks. That is my husband's nephew. Gorgeous. They just had a little baby girl, Saren, who is dear gorgeous. I wish I could give her a cuddle, but I can't. So you have to cuddle her for me. Okay, finally, we're going to do some sculpting of some hills in the background. Now, to help you out with this, just so you can see, let me find something to draw with. I'm going to use one of these gorgeous crayons that have probably been kicking around my studio for about 20 years. Okay, here we go. So, I'm just going to draw in the hill shape to give you a bit of a clue. So, it can be whatever you want. I know we're using this Vincent van Gogh as a inspiration, but this is our artwork. It really doesn't matter if it looks exactly like it. If it matters to you, then maybe you need to study art. Doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you're giving it a go, you're stepping outside your comfort zone. And my sister-in-law yesterday when she was talking to David David said, oh, did you have a paint, Janet? I saw you were online. And she said, no, I haven't got anything, I can't paint. And again, going back to it, just get a biro, get a pencil, scratch it out with a pencil on a back of an envelope. Just have a go, do something you're not used to. On that note, having a go it's important to stay nutritious. Oh, Sam Fraser's on board. I just gave you a shout out, gorgeous. You look gorgeous too. It's important to stay healthy. It's important to eat the right things. So I chose a banana today. I thought it was really important to get my breakfast in. So, I don't know why you're all laughing. What's funny about that? Nothing. Okay. Keeping us sane, keeping us sane. Okay, I'm using the bluey green and I'm going to paint in the hills. There's a really annoying crease in that cardboard. Go away! But you know, that's life. Okay, painting in those hills. Okay, I'm going to switch it up now. I'm going to show you, so I'm getting out my kids brush. Remember, this is about painting on everything that's not, you know, expensive art. So I've got my kiddie brush and I'm just going to paint in that background. Everybody's got some random brush at home. I know they have. Well, not everybody, obviously. Some people don't, but toothbrush. We've all got toothbrush people, and usually there is one that we wish we'd thrown away. The bristles have all split, and you think, oh my goodness, I'm going to use that for cleaning the shower. I'm going to clean the tiles and the grout with that. And to be fair, we're all locked down. We've got plenty of time. It was a bit inappropriate time. We've got plenty of time to do all those sort of jobs now, haven't we? I said to a mum yesterday, I did my last art class with the kids. It was so sad. I bought them all some chocolate to say goodbye. In fact, we didn't know it was the last one until actually I finished. But I had, you know, those click together camping mats. Instead of being in the classroom, I brought in 15 of those. We put them a metre apart. I had little clipboards for them and they sat on the floor, bless them, socially distancing. I'm not laughing at it. I'm not. It's really important. It's not funny. It's hard for kids that are, you know, 6, 7, 8 to understand even what is going on. But yeah, so that was my last, I can't remember what my point was, but anyway, that was my last art lesson yesterday. Okay, so we've done the field, we've done the cornfield, we've done the background, we've done the hills. I'm now going to go up and do the sky. So if you're using this one only brush, make sure you give it a good rinse because we're going to go on to blue and white and we don't want the sky to be green. If your water does turn green, go change it. Clean water, happy water. Go change it and we'll be good to go. All right, so on my palette, I'm going to mix together some blue and some white. Okay, let's see there. Yeah, okay, Boyd, I'll look forward to seeing your results. I was super impressed with how you painted, mate. I don't know if you did art with me. Did you do art with me when we had Mrs. Cooper or Mr. Reese? I can't remember you being, not that you shouldn't be amazing at art, by the way, but I don't remember that from school. But I was super impressed with your painting, so well done. So I'll be really excited to see how you go. All right, so let me know. So I've got this kind of baby blue, and I am literally just going to paint in the sky. And I'm going to do it in lots and lots of random strokes. Now I'm going to dip it just into white. I want it to have texture. This painting is all about texture. Vincent van Gogh was all about texture. Really, really get loose with it, cream it on. Okay, I've got to be careful with this edge here, so I'm just going to paint carefully around my hills. Sorry, when I'm concentrating, I can't talk. Thank goodness it's like that in between the sheets, David says. Okay, bit more. So I'm just painting it on with my dodgy school brush. Okay, going around this hill. And in from this side. I'm going to pull it closer in a minute so you can see just how textural it is. Now the only thing with cardboard, can you see that? So you can see how rough and textural it is. There we go. I knew you'd like that, Chunks. Knew it I did. David will be when I go home. It's so embarrassing. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, if I'm gonna die in the next 6 months from COVID-19. I'm going to have a died happy 6 months. So I'm going to have spoken to all you lot. I'm going to have shared the love. And I'm going to be painting my way out of this. So if that's the way, either that or I'm going to die doing Sam Fraser's workouts probably. But anyway. Okay, so here's our painting so far. I'm loving it. Now, the back here, I want it to be slightly darker. Going to use my Pinky Winkies. So I'm dipping it in to some blue. Not too much, but just on the end of my fingers. And I'm just going to paint from the top. Remember, it's always darker at the top. So we've all seen the Apollo 13 film where as it goes up through the blue and into the black. Well, same thing, okay? So as the sky gets higher, it gets darker. So just using my finger, got no brushes, you can always finger paint, people. I'm not going to say who used to sing and paint because obviously that's no longer something good to talk about, but he used to have a wobble board. I've always wanted to do that. Okay, now I want to sculpt in some more of those clouds. So again, using my finger, okay? I'm just going to sculpt in some sort of curvy clouds. I'm just laughing at I don't know if, I guess, again, in my naivety and my have never done this before.com, I have no idea if you can see each other's comments. Can you see each other's comments, or is it just me that can see each other's comments? If so, I don't know why I keep on shouting things out, but anyway. Right, I'm just having a look at this. It's interesting because I've got my camera on switch or whatever, so I can see myself in the camera, and it's helping me see what you can see. Yeah, Sam, I remember you did art with me. There was a whole load of us, eh? You, me, Manda Greenwood, who's no, she's not head of art, but she's one of the art teachers in Bodmin. Oh my God, we had a riot. Bless our art teachers, Jim Crouch, who's still an artist in Cornwall, I'm pretty sure, and dear old Robertson, who died, if not last year, the year before, and love to that. Okay, I'm just looking at this, and this is a little bit too green. I want to add a little bit of blue into that green on this hill here. So again, using my finger, I'm just going to sort of, if you rub it in sort of round circles, it will mix on the palette for you. So I just want to add a little bit of tone variation so that it's not just one strip of green. Okay, so I'm just adding a bit of dark where the valleys are there. And I'm going to do this cardboard's starting to bend because it's wet. If you're doing this at home, obviously it'll be on a table probably, so it won't bend so much. I did put some blue tack behind it, but we're just bending a little bit. Okay, sorry, I've just got to stand there just to get in front of it. Gorgeous, loving it, loving it. Okay, now we're going to add, I'm going to go to fork. That's it, kids. Get in there, get in mum's cutlery. I should say this painting is not an adult only painting. Obviously some of the jokes might have been, although I'm trying to keep them semi-clean so the innuendos are getting through without the details, know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to put the fork in the pooey brown colour, or the dark brown. I guess this is burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is more of a red colour, and then into a bit of ochre. Burnt sienna and ochre. Okay, and we want to make this look like corn. So, hopefully you can all see me. Fork goes on, and I'm going to drag it up. Fork goes on, and I'm going to drag it up. So I'm going to have to, because there is no, obviously it's metal, so there's no absorbency like a paintbrush. I'm going to have to keep on dipping into my paint, but that's okay. I'm just going to fork it over the yellow area. I'm going to hold my cardboard as well because it's wobbling. So like I said to you when I did my promo, David and I have made the, is it a tough decision? I don't know, but the children are staying home as of today. My kids are all blessed with being quite artistic, which I love. Harry perhaps doesn't enjoy doing it as much. In fact, he probably is cringing of embarrassment with me doing this, but that's okay. He's my youngest. But Miss Daisy Bessell is a creative guru, And so I'm going to get her to do some of these with me. She's going to do some of these lives with me. We might even try doing an Instagram live, an IG live. It's a world, you know, I'm coming towards 50 people. It's a world that's new to me. I can post a photograph, not quite there on the Insta live yet, but maybe this is the time I learn, hey. All right, so we've got our backgrounds, we've got we've got our corn. If it's a little bit dark, which I'm not saying it is, but I quite like just a little bit of lightness, as if the sun's just reflecting down on some of it. So I'm just adding a little bit of highlighting. Again, kitchen fork, beautiful. All right, we are now going to come down to this. You can see most of this has dried now, and we're going to start adding in some poppies. Before we do that, I'm going to just prepare the background little bit. So I'm using a popsicle stick, or a lollipop stick in England. You could go back to your palette knife. If you haven't got one of those, you could use a spoon. Again, I'm using all the things that are just around, yeah? Okay, I'm going to use my popsicle stick, and I've loaded up some purple and some blue. Now I've loaded it up, and now I'm just gonna wipe off the excess, because I actually don't want it to be super thick. Okay, I just want to be able to plop some on there. All right, can you see that? Now remember, I said to you the other day when I was doing the Italian picture, that when you do sip and paints, it's very much in a process. You have to go round and let things dry. So it's possibly not the way you'd paint normally, but that's okay. Okay, so using my popsicle stick, oh, it's really warping. Okay, I might just have to, I need to do this flat. So I'm just gonna put a bend in it. There we go, and that'll flatten it off. Good job. Bit of blue tack. There, that's better. Okay, I'm going to put my popsicle stick on, and I want to, you can see I'm just using it almost as a stamp. Hands are getting mucky. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, use it as a stamp. Why am I doing this? Well, good question. I'm doing this because in a minute, once I do the flowers, the poppies on top, I want some areas of depth in between those poppies. So by putting some deep colour, it's going to add a little bit of shadow and depth to this foreground. Woo. It's all new world, people, isn't it? We're all trying to do something new. We don't quite know what we're doing. We're probably making a complete fool of ourselves, but if we're all laughing about it, that's the main thing. All right, beautiful. Okay, so that's kind of got that bit. We're now going to go back up here and sculpt in our trees. So I'm going to go back to using a brush, and I want to try and create a really dark green. I don't have a dark green in my kit of dodgy paints that came from home. So I'm going to find this little puddle of green here, and I'm going to add some purple. You could add blue, and I'll get a kind of emeraldy green. So that's a nice dark green. I obviously want, the reason why I want it to be dark is I want it to be different than the background, so the tree stands forward of that. Okay, so looking at his painting, he has a cypress tree. Cypress trees are those curvy trees you've probably seen before in Starry Night. He wants one of those. Hi Donna, bridesmaid extraordinaire with me and Di's wedding. Before anybody goes, woo, weddings are cancelled, we know people, but it's 2021. Actually, Sam, that's a very good important point. I have to be a bridesmaid. My bride and the other bridesmaid are super slinky. So I definitely need to get this body into some sort of less embarrassing shape. So I will be joining you on your keep fits for sure. Okay, from here, the first hill of your hills, we're gonna go up. Now, because it's a fat paintbrush, I'm not gonna go bleh, because I'm gonna end up with a tree about this big, an elephant tree. So use it as a stamp, okay? Use it as a stamp it up, because we're gonna go right into that white people, scary but true. Okay, and I'm just curving it, okay? Curving it, and I'm going right. Let's see if I can show you. Coming closer. Zoom. Okay, so you can see I'm just stamping it because I want to curve it because it's a cypress tree. And I want to go into that white. Now, if I press too hard on that white, what do you think is going to happen? Well, it's going to be a big mess, okay? So I'm just dropping, almost like stamping the paint on, okay? Stamping the paint on. So there's my first tree. I'll do another one next to it. It's the bushy bush, which is like a little lump. Does it break through? No, it doesn't break through the hill. So there's a little bush. There's another little bush here. There we go. And then there's another little bush here. Can you see, by adding in that blue, you've just got that tone change. So there's 3 tones there. And then there's going to be another little house there. And then there's another tree. Now I'm just going to move this over because I can't quite reach. Okay, just going to move this over and I'm going to stamp up my other little tree. So I'm doing this all with dodgy paints on a piece of cardboard and some kind of school brush. It can be done. Where there is a will, there is a way, as they say. Okay, there's one. And then this last tree is going to go all the way up to the top. And that's probably the most scary. So here we go. We're going to, you can see now, can you see in my brushlet, I'm picking up the light blue. That's okay, I'm just going to flip that up. I might need to just mix a bit more blue. Okay, coming in from this side. It's going to be lovely, this. I'm starting a little gallery here at the studio of all the paintings we do on all of these sip and paints or on my daily doodles. So what else is coming up today? Well, you guys will probably be heading off to bed in the Northern Hem. But for everybody else that are homeschooling and need to break up their day with I'm trying to do a kitchen experiment using bicarb. And I'm, using my lacking physique to try and teach the kids PE. Yeah, we need some help here, people. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing later on today is I'm going to be doing my daily doodle. And after my daily doodle, I am going to be trying to sort out the Harry Potter monster book. So children, that will be coming up later. Hi Esther, total bestie from England. Boo! She's been my friend since, when we were born. Her mum and my mum were besties. And we went on many a fun holiday to France. And one to Spain. The one to Spain wasn't so fun because being fair, I know clearly more grey than whatever, but my original colour is quite fairy ginger, I guess. I burnt like a crisp on that summer holiday in Spain. That was the days when we all used to put cooking oil on our body and try and get as brown as we could. Obviously, my mum didn't put cooking oil on me. She didn't actually fry me, but she probably didn't put any sun cream. She reckons she did put sun cream on mine. However, I ended up with sunstroke. My face that is already round swelled up like this. Eyes went as small as this. And my holiday, I was like a big red tomato for all of it. So, yeah, those were funny days. The other thing I remember from those holidays is Mum's going to hate this. Auntie Av's going to hate this. Auntie Av is not my auntie, however, she is my auntie. Because we all have them, don't we? We have those aunties that aren't aunties. Auntie Av and Mum went to Trago Mills. Woohoo, to Trago. Everybody in Cornwall will be peeing their pants thinking about that. Went to Trago Mills and bought some really awful crimpolene striped material and made us all matching dresses. We should find a photograph and put that online just to share, because that is going to brighten your world, people. That and a kaggle. Do you know what a kaggle is? In Australia, we call them, what do we call them? I don't know, wind cheaters, waterproof jackets, something like that. But not, nothing like mountain equipment, none of this posh stuff. It was one of those things that packed into a little, into the pocket. There was a pocket at the front and it all packed into this pocket, and it had drawstrings, so that when it was raining, you went out looking like a right old tourist. Talking of tourists, stay at home, people. Stop it. Stop moving around the country. Stop going down to Cornwall thinking, I think I'll lock down in Cornwall. They don't want you. Get in your car, get to your own home, stay there. Simple as that. In Australia, it's the same. We've locked down our borders right now. There's no moving. So stop moving around. Be kind to each other. I on a serious note, which hopefully is not going to get me back into tears. One of my besties in Cornwall, who I played netball with, Nikki Cooper, sent a message yesterday, and it's always when you have that third degree of separation and you suddenly pack a Mac, Esther, you're right. Anyway, back to it. When you have those third degree of separation, it suddenly brings home the enormity of what's going on. And when I read a message from Nikki yesterday, who knew somebody who had just died in Trelisk, which is the main hospital in Cornwall, where I'm from in England, you realise it's got close, you know. It gave me literally goosebumps. You know, I don't know this person, of course, and Nikki probably only knows them by association, but it's coming closer, yeah. It's no longer just some random people in Wuhan in China. It's no longer, oh, it's in Italy, it's not our problem. No, it's right here, people. It's right here, and that poor family. The wife who passed away, she was a double cancer survivor. You know, she's obviously done it tough for many years. Got sick, obviously vulnerable health already. And when it came to the end, her husband, her children, her grandchildren weren't obviously allowed to go in and say goodbye. And from what I understand, she came off the ventilator and said her goodbyes via a telephone. Next day she passed away. So, you know, that's somebody I know that knows somebody that's lost somebody. And that's what this is all about. So we're all self-isolating. We're all doing it. We're all laughing about it because it's something we've never done before, and trying to explain to the children that this is something we have never seen in our life. Neither's my mum and dad ever seen. They came out of being post-war babies. But I was speaking to my dad. I had a gorgeous conversation with my dad yesterday. And I said, I mean, Dad can remember being in the air raid shelters. And I said, oh, you know, of course, Dad, it's like being in the, you know, sort of like being in the war. You were all walking around with gas masks and we're all walking around with face masks. And he said, no, Karen, it's not like being in the war at all. The war was only a few countries. He said, this has the potential for every country. Let's just look at the world and see in Senegal, in Peru, every country. They might not be the forefront of our data and the forefront of what your country are reporting, but it's going around like wildfire. This is unprecedented. This is like no other in everybody's lifetime. So that said, let's get back to the painting. Okay. So we've done our cypress trees. I'm now going to put in a couple of little houses. Now I don't have anything with detail, so I'm going to use my trusty cotton bud, okay? If you don't have a cotton bud at home, what else could you use? Well, you could use the other end of your paintbrush. You could always dip it in a pencil, okay? So I'm going to use the pale blue that I mixed up for the clouds. Ooh, just trying to get it in the view. So this colour here, okay? And I'm going to draw in a little house here. And at the moment, I'm not going to try and shape it. I'm just going to draw in the block. Because like I say, you kind of want it to dry step by step. So I'm just trying to draw that bit of it in a bit paler white. I'm going to need to get some more white out in a minute, because I'm running out. It's all a bit blue. But that's okay. So that bit there is going to be a little house. Then there is one little house here. And one tiny house here. Okay? I know they don't look like houses. They look like white blocks, but you know, love you, Daisy. But that's okay. What I'm trying to do is show you where they go. And hopefully you can just see, they're just squares, okay? They're not scary, they're just squares. All right, so that's all that done. We are now going to use, hopefully you've got some red. Here's my red. I'm using, no, this is I've never painted. Well, I have painted with them, that's not true, because I do a sip and paint where we do use these. But I've never done it like this. But look, you can get two colours without washing. It's awesome. Okay, I don't want it to be red. So I'm going to mix red with the ochre, with that golden yellow. Let me show you. And we're going to get a kind of brownie, golden colour. This is going to be our roof. You know how in Europe, in Tuscany, in Italy, and actually Mum did think this was a picture of Tuscany. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it is Tuscany. I don't know. I'll do some research on this painting. It might actually be Tuscany, but obviously it's a Vincent van Gogh, and today's about supporting the Dutch. Okay, so I want to try and create a pitch roof. Okay, so just bear with me 2 secs. Look at my beautiful painting. I'm coming back. I'm just coming. But you know, this comes to us all, and when I get to the details, I just can't. I see too many, so I need to put my bins on. How cool do they look with my flamingos? Woo! I've never worn them together, but I should wear them more often. They're lush. Okay, so I'm going to draw the pitch. So it's like a right angle, I guess, a little right angle corner. It might pick up some of the green, that's okay, that doesn't matter. And then you want to go horizontal line across and then down the same angle. Let me pull it forward. The same angle on that side, okay? The same angle on that side, and then horizontal across, and that's going to give you our little terracotta pitched roof. And I'm going to do the same on, now I've got to lift them up to actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so it's the same process on here. So a little triangle pitch roof, drawing across and pitch down. It is a little bit tricky with the old cotton bud because they're a bit chunky. But you know, we work with what we've got in troubled times. All right, that one there, and then a little roof on there, on the little building. Ooh. So weird when I don't talk, isn't it? Everybody's going, it's better. All right, whatevs. Turn me on silent, put me on silent, I'm not bothered. Hi Deb, morning. Welcome to You Create Art at Home. All right, so I've got my little pitch roof. I've got my background done. We're down to the poppies. So in honour of this painting being everything you've got at home, in honour of this painting being no brushes, so far I've painted with a fork, I've painted with a popsicle stick, I've painted with a spatula, and I've painted with a cotton bud. Not bad, I would say. What do you reckon? Okay, well, on this one, I'm going to paint with a spoon. So I wanted to put the poppies in. Now, in order to get some depth in this, we need to do tiny, tiny poppies in the back, big poppies at the front. So actually, I'm going to start off using my cotton bud, and I'm just, ooh, it's going to wobble. I'm just going to dot them. Now, this is a field of poppies, so you can't go wrong. It is dot, 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 dot. I'm dots about you, I'm dots about you. You can't go wrong. We're just going to dot it around, okay? This is a poppy field. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop. Okay, dotting it around, trying to make that real distance in the back. Okay, next, use my fingers. That's my next size dotter. So, getting my fingers in the red. And actually, I'm going to dip them into a bit of the ochre as well. And can you see that? I'm just going to finger paint randomly. Now you can see why we used that purple. Because as the red goes on, it's given a bit of depth. It looks a bit like shadow. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know how long I've been. Is it boring? I'm sorry if it's boring. I haven't been an hour yet. There's no way I can do it any quicker, really, is there? When you're doing a painting, I mean, if you find it boring listening to me, which I can understand because I have a tendency to ramble, But if you find it, you know, it's too slow for you, then just watch it afterwards. I post these paintings after I've done the live, I post them. So watch it later, and then you can fast forward it. Grace is going to love this. I can't wait to see hers. You need to book a holiday to Australia, young lady Becky. When all this is done, when we're back flying in the skies, come on down and she can have as many free art classes as she wants. She's so cute. This is Grace, who's been doing all my little pictures. Becky, I worked with at Ginsters when I was in the UK, and her artwork's amazing. She's 6. And this painting is for kids as much as it's for adults, yeah? All right. Okay, so now I've got completely disgusting fingers, so I'm going to need to wipe them off. And now I'm going to use my spoon. I want to try living with her. Oh, look. I've got one of my own. In fact, I've got 3 of my own. One of them is a challenge. I'm not going to say which one. Could be you, Daisy. I know you're watching. Okay, I'm going to use a spoon. The reason why my spoon is obviously it's got a lovely round shape. And I'm just going to now, and see how I'm getting bigger circles? So this is my foreground. And I am really just blobbing it on. I'm using it like a stamp. I'm using it like a stamp. So it's not hard. Art sometimes is just about knowing how to do it. Big stamps, using a spoon on a piece of cardboard. Okay, I've run out of red. I need some more red. I showed you earlier. Hi Lou. Come down with your coffee if you like. I'm using up all these paints. If your paints are dry, get yourself a craft knife. If you haven't got a craft knife, ask Mum if there's a kitchen knife you can use. If it's metal, you can wash off the paint, okay? So don't get precious, parents. If the child goes, Mom, I've run out of paint and I really wanna, just slice it open and look like this. I'm slicing it open and I'm gonna pull, there's paint in there. I just can't squeeze it out anymore. So just slice it open and scoop it out and you'll find there's plenty of paint in there. Yeah, and if you're using a kitchen implement, a spoon or whatever you can find to get the paint out and a kitchen bread knife to open it out, that's okay. It washes, it's fine. Okay, I'm just going to move this to the side. It doesn't matter, does it? The most important thing is at the moment, we're all having fun as much as we can. The kids want to try something new. They're doing a little art lesson with me. Then, let's just use what we can find at home. Let's not get too stressed. I read absolutely. So my full name is Karen Bessell, as some of you will know, and I read the most incredible letter and sentiment from a teacher in Sydney. It was posted by my beautiful friend Alyssa Rayner, and it was in where I used to live in Willoughby in northern Sydney. It was in the Willoughby Live magazine. I say a lot. And I posted it on my personal page. So if you have a look at that, I'm just going to move that back so you can't see the full painting. If you have a look at that, it's gorgeous. In fact, I might post it here as well. It's essentially the upshot of it is, don't get too stressed in these troubled times about trying to make the kids do science in the morning, followed by geography, followed by PE, followed by whatever. They're as scared as we are. Right now, we just need to band together and do the best we can. Yes, of course, we want them to study. Yes, of course, we don't want them to lose their education. Scott Morrison's absolutely right. We don't want them to have a year of no education. But there are other ways we can educate our children. So we can get them to do everyday math. We can help them look at our budget if we're having to rework our finances. David and I definitely are, because obviously I've lost all of my income with all of my teaching. It's not, there are so many different ways of doing it without us having to be so precious that we're going to end up arguing. There's now 5 of us at home. David works from home, I'm working from home. The 3 kids are going to be studying. The last thing we want is to be fighting. All right, so finishing off these poppies. I will post that sentiment in here though, just so that you guys who haven't seen it can see it. So I think that is pretty good. I can't get down to that bottom bit with the bottom of my easel. Okay. And then finally, I want to do the center of these, well, not finally, nearly finally. I want to do the center of these poppies. So I am using the back of my brush. And I'm literally just going to stamp a circle in some of the middle of these poppies. I'm not sure if this is gonna, I might have to use my, oh no, that works. So because the red is so wet, and you can obviously let yours dry at home, I'm having to sort of rotate my brush to drop it on the wet, which is a little bit harder. But we just want to get a sense of the center of these flowers, and I'm only doing them in the foreground mainly. I'm not going to do all the tiny ones in the back there. But you get a sense that they are the center of those beautiful blooms, like that. Okay, 2 more things. So I want to put in a little window and a little door here. I want the blue on one side to be slightly darker, because obviously it's in shade or it's got, you know, to help make it look 3 dimensions. So again, using this as a drawing tool, because I haven't got a thin brush, I've just mixed up a darker bit of blue, and I'm just painting on that side of the building. I'm just painting it a little bit darker. Going to do exactly the same on this side, down there and there. Now I need to put in a little door and a little window. Going to use the blue again. Here's the door, just stamping it on. Sorry, I need to put my glasses down, can't see the detail. Oh, that's better. Window, 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 window. God, it's hard to do this tiny one. All right, hopefully that's good enough. I want to do a couple of highlights in the trees. So I'm mixing some of the green with my yellow, and this is going to give me a lovely light green. So I'm using the yellow and the green together. Not putting any more paint out. Look, people, you can see how squiggly it is. Kylie, girls are going to miss their art class with you. I'm going to miss them too. They're beautiful, you two girls. But they can find me here, and they can find my world of crazy online. So this is one of those lessons where we're going to let them use their iPads. Okay, so I'm just going to draw down, whoa, that's a bit chunky, down one side of that cypress tree with a little bit of the light green, and the same on here. Just dragging some light green into the cypress tree, and then using this, I'm just gonna, you know how those, oh no, I don't like that. All right, let's flatten it out because it shows too much blue. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of light green on one side just to help sculpt that tree. A little bit on this bush. A little bit on the top of that bush. Okay, and then finally, I'm getting some light green on my trusty fork. Right, I'm going to lift this up, hopefully. I'm going to stick it up there. Okay, and I'm just going to fork. I'm going to come closer so you can see. I'm just going to fork down the bottom. Hi, Beth. Beth is another bombing girl who lived in Peru for many years. Got 2 beautiful girls, lives in Bodmin now. I saw yesterday, Beth, that Peru are going through a bit of a struggle with this coronavirus. So my thoughts are with you and family that are still down there, friends and family. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit of forking at the front, at the very, very front, just to give a foreground. Okay, now you guys are going to have, especially any little children, be careful. I haven't let this dry. So if you go too crazy, you're going to smudge all your flowers. So if you're worried about it, wait until those flowers are dry before you do this, okay? Obviously, I know how heavy, but the way to do it so you don't smudge those flowers is to literally just push it down and lift it up, okay? Push it down and lift it up. All right. That is my painting. Done it in an hour. I've used a fork. I've used a children's paintbrush. I've used 2 children's paintbrushes. I've used a cooking spatula, a popsicle stick, and a cotton bud. That is it. I did not have a paint palette, so I've used a piece of plastic, which is just one of those signboards. You could use a baking tray covered in some cling wrap. And I used all of my leftover paints. Tipping this upside down so you can see the sort of paints that I used. They were just, so instead of showing you and everyone thinking, oh, well, it's easy for you, Karen, you have all the bits and bobs. Yeah, I do have all the bits and bobs. And I've just shown you how to paint that painting just using, and I used a spoon. So there is the painting. There is what I've copied. You have the method. You have me, and you can stop me as many times as you want, and you can make your own beautiful Vincent van Gogh, which is a tribute to the Dutch flower farmers that are doing it super tough at the moment because they're having to throw all their flowers away. All right. It's been gorgeous once again doing a painting with you. I should say, when you've cut open the paints like this, with this here, I'm now going to soak this in not this one because it's green, but soak it in some water, and you'll end up making your own kind of watercolor paint, which the kids can also use. So don't throw them away like that. When you've opened them out and you've scraped out all of the paint, then stick that in some clear water, maybe not as much as that, maybe about that much. Just put it in there, let it soak out all the paint, and the kids can still paint with it. So let's be frugal in times when things are hard at the moment, because we don't know how long this is going to go on for. I might not be drawing a salary for, 6 months. I hope you've enjoyed this morning's session. I'll be back later, children, to do the monster book. So what you'll need for that is your cereal box that you've covered in paper mache. If you haven't done that, you could do it this morning. I just used toilet paper and paper tissues, and I used a bit of glue with water, and I covered my cereal box. I will see you on the next... Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to go and use my sanitizer, okay? All right, guys, have a lovely evening. Thanks for tuning in. Absolutely love sharing these with you. If you want me to paint anything special, then, flick me a message and say, I really would like to learn how to paint that. I'm happy to do one-on-ones where possible. Literally, I got so much time at the moment, and I'm going to be in here with my kids. This will probably become the school. So if you love what you do, please give me a shout out. It's the @ you create art at home. Please share this with as many people. It's for free. I'm giving you my time, my love, my energy, and my art experience all for free. It is suitable for children, it's suitable for adults, it's suitable for aged care. If you've got a mum at home, a dad at home, and you cannot connect with them, ask them if they are interested. They can hook up and do these, and at least they got something to do, okay? Anything that I find that I think will be valuable, I'll be sharing on my Facebook page. I have created an Insta as well. Not so Insta, what's the word? Don't have so much knowledge on Instagram. However, now my children are homeschooling, I might make that one of my daily tasks for my kids to do, because I'm pretty sure they'll be able to do it. Hi, Mum, I'm just about to say goodbye. Been here for an hour, got up at 4. It's all over, and the fat lady is singing.